Hey, what is going on, everybody? And in today's video, we are going to be going over all of the details of Silver Samurai's event campaign, including looking at the honorable trait characters for newer players with my baby account and how horrific this event orb is, which have usually been pretty good in recent patches. In the second half of the video, we will be looking over the math for the event to give a better understanding of how many cores that you need to spend if you want to get a 3, 4, or even 5 yellow star Silver Samurai completely free to play. But of course, mileage will vary depending on what you're willing to put in for this beast of a mutant tank and how many power cores that you have available. So without further ado, let's get the show on the road. So first things first, we're going to start off in the roster section of my baby account here, and the reason why I'm doing this is for the honorable traits, but also to get you guys an idea of who is worth using. Obviously, the ones that I have at a higher power level for this account is probably going to be the ones that are most viable in terms of late game content, which are the ones that you're going to want to spend your resources in. A lot of these characters, you know, are kind of hit or miss. There are some really good newer choices, though, of course, if you've been around more recently and you've been able to unlock these characters. Namely, Deathpool was the main event character from last patch, in the new Warrior's Cloak and Dagger. If you have them by now, you may or may not necessarily, depending on how you scored in the blitzes, but if you do have them unlocked, either of them, any of these three really are probably your top choices here. Alternatively, now that Maria Hill is also available to farm, she is a good choice as well from the Secret Avengers. In fact, all three of the Secret Avengers are on this list. So Captain America Sam, Sharon Carter, Maria Hill, and then Deathpool, Cloak and Dagger. So these are probably your top 6 best characters, or even some combination of them. If you're able to make that work, those would be your best characters. However, there are some other choices. Shang-Chi is on here, actually, so he's actually not too bad as far as newer characters are concerned, and you probably would have unlocked him via the event, at least at 3. Actually, I think it was a 2-star unlock, so you should probably have him at least. After that, it gets a little bit sketchy, to be honest. You can see that a lot of these characters on the list, for me, are next to no power, and these aren't any characters that are worth leveling, so I can't, Okoye, worth shard farming for the Chaos Theory event, but not to use, and so a lot of these characters are not really worth gearing up at all anymore. I'm trying to make, Wolverine, obviously, because he's part of that Weapon X team. Sabretooth's not even actually he's not really an honorable person, but I mean, I'm surprised he's not on this trait anyways. X-23 might be okay because of the need for X-Force, and if you're trying to unlock Doc Ock, X-23 could be on that list. Mordo was a character I used early on in the Villains and Mystic campaign, and maybe a little bit in Cosmic, but other than that, he's not really worth gearing too much, so I would really chop it off at, like, Wolverine, X-23, Shang-Chi and above. Maybe Iron Fist if you're using Shang-Chi, but don't use Iron Fist standalone. I don't think it's really all that worth it. And then obviously Secret Avengers. I think that slowly, I think Sharon Carter will probably be farmable pretty soon as well. But she was the event campaign from 2 patches ago, so if you happen to get her as well, then that makes a lot of sense to use there. And like I said, alongside the new Warriors. We do have at the top characters I haven't even unlocked, or I haven't clicked that recruit button, and that's OG Falcon, Karnak, and Black Panther. Actually, I do have a Black Panther unlocked, but I didn't. Yeah, there we go. I don't know, I pulled the 5 red, I guess, on him. But I wouldn't really gear him too much either, unless he's your only option. So if you don't have the top 6 available, New Warriors and Secret Avengers, realistically after that, I would say Iron Fist, Shang-Chi, Mordo, X-23, Wolverine, or maybe Black Panther. And that's probably about it. I don't even have Cap leveled because of those stages where I needed Wave 1 Avengers. I don't even think I plan to use Cap in there. So I can't make a strong argument for the rest of these characters. So those are your best choices there. Let me know if you are a newer player account. Let me know in the comments down below what characters that you're choosing to use for this event, and whether or not you actually managed to get some of these top 6 that I mentioned unlocked or not ahead of this event. If you're really more fresh than Secret Avengers and you weren't around for the Sharon Carter event campaign, then or the Deathpool campaign event, I think that you're going to struggle a little bit because a lot of these characters here really are not that great. Like I said, if you're really at the bottom of the barrel, I would look at characters like Iron Fist, Shang-Chi, if you happen to get him unlocked, and then maybe Wolverine and Black Panther, and I don't know, you might be able to get through the medium campaign, but for the hard mode campaign, some of these top characters you're going to want to have on your team. So let's take a look at the honorable orb now, which is absolutely trash. So that is listed here, the honorable orb. So one of the biggest complaints is not only is the trait kind of You know, not a very good one. There's a lot of newer characters, but not a lot of better older characters, if that makes sense. Some of the ones available here in the drops, there's a lot missing. So the newest character in this orb is actually Moon Knight. Now, Moon Knight is not very good in terms of wider usability in the game. At endgame, other than Alliance War, there's not a lot of space for him to be used. And there are some, like, okay ones, and that's namely like Okoye, and I think Black Panther's in there. He's probably in there. So in terms of like Chaos Theory drops, that's okay, but in terms of actual better character drops, it's not very good. A lot of the previous event campaign orbs did have maybe at least 3 or 4 characters that were good. You know, either they were unfarmable or they were freshly made farmable, so nobody really had them at 6 or 7 stars at that point. But in this orb, it's not very good. X23 might be an okay drop in here because of the Doc Ock's X-Force requirement. But other than that, not very good at all. And actually, so much so that there was a huge Reddit post about this that people put up, and it has so many upvotes about it. And this is the Reddit thread in question here. Silver Samurai Campaign Event Orb Scopely, Are You Mad at Us? By Raceland43084. As bad as the last event campaign orbs were, the Silver Samurai ones may be the worst ones we've had in a long time, if ever. For vets, there is Moon Knight and maybe X23, and that's it outside of Silver Samurai. Scopely, are you mad at the players? Is this because we don't tell you we love your bugs enough? Is it because we didn't thank you enough for the new Safe Squad folders? I know a lot of us have been making eyes and saying things about Marvel Future Revolution and Netmarble, but I swear a lot of us still only have eyes for you. We are willing to stick it out in this abusive relationship for the kids, aka Marvel Strike Force and our alliance mates, but you need to meet us halfway and show that you're still in this for the long haul too. Better campaign event orbs, more available orange gear, more T2s, more blue ions. These are the love notes we need in our lives, and let us know that you still care. So this got 371 upvotes as of me recording this video, and this was the, you know, there was actually a handful of them, but this was the most, the one that kind of got traction the most. And, you know, it's really funny. Nothing honorable about those orbs. Basically, they took the legacy orbs and made a chance of getting Silver Samurai. Good luck, Commander. Add Secret Avengers in the honorable orb. So I know exactly why that the Secret Avengers are not in the honorable or the event orb. Because, you know, you need Secret Avengers to unlock Omega Red, and they don't want to give us any more chances to get them than, you know, there is right now, which isn't a lot. So that's exactly why they're not in there. New Warriors I can also kind of understand, because they were just last patch. Maybe they could have put Deathpool in there at the very least, but I think that they should have used some more, you know, Infinity Watch, maybe Phyla-Vela Moondragon. They could have used even Nebula. I don't know. I guess these aren't honorable characters, but anyone's from the previous patches, maybe 3 or 4 patches ago, X-Factor, Astonishing X-Men, any of these characters would have been really good, you know, to give extra other players, you know, a way to farm these, you know, older but not too older of a character, if that makes sense. Anyways, it is trash. This is not very good. And so with that being said, let's move on to the actual math portion of this event, where we talk about how you're going to get that 4 or 5 yellow Silver Samurai. Alright everyone, so I just want to make it very clear that if you are interested in checking out this spreadsheet after the fact, I will make this available in the description down below, and also on my Discord channel if you're interested, so feel free to check that out as well. I am not a graphic designer, so this is kind of the way that I've been doing these sort of spreadsheets for some time. I know if there's some color problems, my apologies, but anyways, we're going to go through this together, and hopefully this will make some sense. So this is the Curse of Muramasa Silver Samurai event campaign that will be lasting for 15 days. They haven't really changed this at all for some time, so I think it's normally 15 days. So you do get some free shards from going through hard mode. So, and I do want to say that this is actually all with hard mode in mind. So my apologies to anyone very, very new. I may at a later time do, you know, some stuff on easy mode and medium mode, but hard mode's not super difficult to get into. So this is unfortunately going to be with respect to the hard mode difficulty, which most people are doing at this point. So you do get basically 27 free shards for going through all 9 levels of the hard mode difficulty: 2, 2, and 5. 2, 2, and 5, and 2, 2, and 5, giving you a total of 27 shards. And thankfully, Silver Samurai is a 2-star unlock, so this actually does get you pretty close to even unlock, over halfway to unlocking him just after doing the levels itself. You just need to kind of get lucky on your first kind of middle drop orb, and you'll get him unlocked no problem. So As per usual, 2,000 fragments per orb, and the available fragments per day in hard mode, you get a total of 5,400 if you farm all 9 of the levels. And why that's going to be important is when we talk about how many cores it's going to cost, and that's a total of 900 energy, which is roughly 2.7 orbs in hard mode daily if you were to clear all of hard mode. So the amount of energy generation that you do get for events free to play, you do get the 288 energy. Now that's 12 energy times 24 hours, because that's the daily timer refresh, and then you get your free refreshes, which you get 3 times a day, and that's 80 times 3, and then you get your core, so you can do up to 4 refreshes with your cores, at least the 50 level, and you get 400. Now, why is this not 480? You actually only get 100 event energy per refresh, not 120 like you do get for the regular campaign stuff. So keep that in mind, and that gives you a potential total of 928 if you do all of these things above. So this is going to be very important for when we talk about the scenarios. I have 4 main scenarios that I have laid out for how many shards that you can accumulate, depending on how much cores you want to spend. I actually do have a couple others, but I don't really use those anymore. These are the most relevant scenarios, and I'm going to move over to the first one over here. So scenario 1 is what I would call the best case scenario. This is usually what most people do. This is the 4 times 50 core refreshes. It's a total of 200 daily, or about 3,000 over 15 days, roughly. So you would just multiply that, of course, by 15. I had that in there before. I'm not sure why it's not there now. So the total energy spent is like what we mentioned in the previous table, and that's 928. That's doing all of your refreshes. You do actually get a little bit of gold actually through this as well. And so over the course of the whole event, it's not a lot, but it's like 1,000,000 gold. And so, you know, it's not a lot, but you know, it's still, you know, it's less than 70k daily. But you know, it's a little bit of extra that I kind of threw in here into this table, anyways, because people were asking and I've been curious how much gold you get out of these events. So fragments gain total. This is actually 5,560, almost 3 orbs daily. This is all of hard mode, plus about 2 attempts of the medium. Now, depending on how you line up your refreshes, you could get a little bit more or a little bit less. Now, this gives you roughly total orbs daily 2.78. Over the course of the event, you're getting almost 42 orbs, because this is a 15-day event. Now, you get a total of 252 shards. This comes from an average shard estimate about 5.4 shards per orb. So the event campaign orbs haven't changed in terms of the drop rates for, I want to say, over a year at this point. They did change it at one other time, but it's been static like this for about a year or so, plus the 27 free. So, and I can't give you the reference for why I'm putting 5.4. I've been using this for a very, very long time. I once had this reference source point, but this is the average amount of shards that you're going to get over the course of basically opening all of your event orbs. So this gets you about 252 shards, and that's about halfway to 5 stars. Not quite there. So if you're someone who's okay with kind of the 4-star level, you know, but you can still get 5-star if you're really lucky. So this is your average amount of shards. And I want to be clear that I've actually done this. I do the 200 cores daily for almost every single event recently, except for Phi Level, who I did go a little bit harder because they were an arena team, and I did pull a 5 red. But other than that, I've been doing this 200 daily for some time, and a handful of characters I did actually get to 5-star. I got Deathpool to 5-star actually, completely out of the orbs, just by doing 200 daily. So it's not impossible. It's a little bit unlikely, but it is possible with some good RNG that you could get that. Now, I think it's pretty unlikely that you wouldn't get at least a 4-star, because it says 252 and you need 180 for a 4-star character. But you know, this is a pretty good place to be, which is why I outlined this first. Now, the scenario 2. This is what I call the middle ground, and now this is 100 daily, or 2 core refreshes daily, and again, that's about 200 energy less, and so you can go through the table here. You get about, you know, 250k less gold over the course of the event, and you get 2.29 daily orbs instead of the above 2.78. Now, over the course of the event, though, that does give you about 34 rounding down over the course of the event, and that gets you about 212 estimated shards with the same kind of stuff here. Now, that is still on average going to be a 4-star character. However, if your luck is really, really bad, if you're on like the lower, I don't know, lower 10% of the odds, you may not reach that 4-star, because it's usually plus or minus, I would say, about 40 shards. Maybe even 50 shards, because like I said, this one's at 252, but I have just, you know, just inched into that 5-star range before. So it could be plus or minus about 40, 50 shards. So do keep that in mind. If 4-star is where you want to get to, I would do something like 150 to 200 cores daily if you can afford it, just to be sure that you're going to get that. Now, scenario 3 is what I call the worst case scenario. This is the no core refreshes, so we're getting 400 less energy than Scenario 1. This gets us about 500,000 gold less than Scenario 1 as well, and the total orbs over the event is about 26, so that's about 8 orbs less than the previous 100 core dailies. Now, this gets you roughly, on average, about 168 shards. Now, that's also including the 27 free that you get from hard mode. So what does this say? This says, well, you're probably going to get a 3-star character, but you're not going to get a 4-star character unless you're lucky. So I would keep that in mind, that if you are aiming to at least get a 4-star character for this, that you're going to want to put some cores into this, whether it's 100 or whether it's 200. That's entirely up to you, but you're probably not, on average, going to get the 4-star unless you put some power cores into it. Now, there's finally what I would call the Scenario 4, and this is lots of cores. Actually, I have 5. I have lots and lots of cores, but this one is lots of cores. This is 400 daily with 100 times 2. You get a little bit of a gold increase. My apologies for the color. I know it's probably not the best one here. This is 200 more than Scenario 1, 200 energy more than Scenario 1, and almost 50 orbs over the course of the event. Now, this gets you to about 296 shards, so this is not quite at the 5-star level, but it's pretty close. If your luck is above average, you're probably going to get that, but if your luck is below average, you're not going to get it. So this is why we go into Scenario 5, and this is the final one, which I call lots more cores. This is 600 daily. Usually this is the extent at which most players are able to or willing to spend their cores for a character, depending on how badly they want it. You know, I actually did, I think I did 400 for Phyla-Vell, I believe. I don't remember. I did either 400 or 600. I did a lot for Phyla-Vell, but other than that, I didn't. So you get a little bit more gold, of course, and over the course of the event, you're getting about 57 orbs rounding down, and this gets you the level that you're wanting to get to, because this is 336 shards on average. If you're aiming for that 5-star character, this is probably the most likely. Now, if you go somewhere between, I don't know, Scenario 4 and Scenario 5, you do 500 daily, this might also inch you there as well, but it depends on your luck, right? So if you're really bad luck, you might not get it, but if you're above average luck, you will get it. So here, this is where you're most likely to get it, because that's 336 shards, where you need 310 for the 5-star character. So this is where you're going to be wanting to get at if you want to get it more reliably. This is not to say that you will always get this. If you're really bad luck, you know, like I said, it could be plus or minus about 50 shards, so that could bring you down to about 286 or something around there, and so that makes you a little bit short. So do be careful when you're doing this core spending on the characters. Make sure you have a goal in mind. This is the most important thing that I tell everyone when they're doing coring for campaign event characters. Have a goal in mind right at the beginning. Are you going for a 4-star? Are you going for a 5-star? Or are you going for a 3-star? You know, what are you going for? And that will kind of determine how many power cores that you need to spend on a daily basis as soon as you can on day 1 of the event, because that's the most important thing that you can do. So make sure you have a plan. Maybe that might depend on how many red stars you pulled for the character. You know, I pulled a 4-star on my main account, and I pulled a 6-star on my baby account, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go super hard on my baby account, because I don't really care that much. But for my main, you know, I'll probably just do the 200s daily, and I'll save the rest for farming up my Secret Avengers, who are going to become farmable pretty soon. I would expect sometime next week or the week after that for some of the characters. So that's the end of the video, guys. Let me know what you think, and let me know what your plans are for Silver Samurai. How many cores do you plan on spending on? I would, again, be careful if you are trying to unlock Omega Red. I would consider spending a little bit less cores unless you're someone who has saved a ton of them, because you're going to need some to help farm for Sharon Carter, Maria Hill refreshes in the War Store, and Cap Sam when he becomes available as well. So do be careful on that front, but otherwise, best of luck for the Silver Samurai campaign event, and may the odds ever be in your favor. That's the right quote, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I will see you all later. Boilon signing out.